All right. So last week we discussed on the morality. Last week on Wednesday, I was talking about Chatu Parisuddhi Sila, the four morality due to purification. Here, morality due to Patimokkha, the monks' rules and regulations, Vinaya, and we have the restraint, we have the, there's another one, requisites, and then what's the other one? Anyway. So we were talking about it, and then we discussed on that. And then last week on Monday also we were discussing about the different types of morality, beginning with what you should perform, what you should do, and what you should avoid. And then we carry on with a number of things. So these things, so all this time that you have to keep on performing, keep on doing the right things, the dana, the sila, meditation, bhavana. You have to do also all kinds of like respect, kindness. So all these things that you have to keep on, make the effort to perform them. And also we have to make the effort to avoid them. Those things that is wrong, that the killing, the stealing, sexual misconduct, then all these things, so we have to avoid them as best as we can. And not only those things that we should avoid, but there are more minor things in the sense that they do not break precept, but they are still unwholesome in the sense of like our speech may not be straight. Sometimes they are scheming, sometimes they are hinting, sometimes they are so too, all these type of things. So yeah, then those livelihood also the same thing. We make the effort to have a good livelihood that does not fall into trying to cheat other people or steal or dealing with all kinds of like poison that will harm others, or alcohol, intoxicants, those type of things. So we try that as much as avoid those things as much as we can. And then over the years, as we keep on doing these things, then we will see the benefit that comes with this morality. Then when you see this ripens in this very life itself, you'll find that your mind is much more softer, the edges are smoother, there's no rough edges here and there. Your words are clearer, your understanding is better, deeper, more precise. Your words are more kinder, more gentle. You avoid all the wrong speech, and your actions are more gentle, more not abusive, not harsh in that sense. So when we have those things, then the mind, in a way, they are ready for meditation, mental development. Before we go into the mental development side, then just take a look at the benefit that the Buddha shared with us. Okay. Okay, hold on. Where is my word file? Okay. Back again, share screen. Okay, there you are. Good. All right. Now this one I have given to you all many times. This one. The first thing that when you have morality, the purpose and benefit of wholesome, virtuous behavior is non-regret. Then with the non-regret comes the joy. Let me highlight it for a while. This one. So when you take care of your virtue, your precepts, your vows, your restraint, and so on, all those things, when you kept this again and again over time, then in this, before you go into meditation, before we cultivate the mind, then this number 1 and number 2 and 3, these two things, they are most important. The purpose and benefit of this wholesome virtuous behavior is non-regret. And then with the non-regret, it comes in as that joy. The joy here, as I said here, are mundane joy. That two things, that it makes your mind, it makes your psyche to be healthy, to have that everyday type of happiness. If your mind in that everyday, you're not happy in that sense, you don't feel blessed in that sense, you don't feel good about yourself. You felt, if you on the other hand, if you have a lot of regrets, a lot of worry, a lot of sadness, a lot of all kinds of unwholesome mental states, then the joy will not be there. The everyday type of joy is not there. Then when the joy is not there, then you cannot able to go into a further into mental development. So over time, when you have these two, your morality, then you have this non-regret as the first thing. With the non-regret, it comes with that everyday type of happiness. Now, then the Buddha mentioned, for householder, people like you all, here he mentioned there are 5 benefits for the virtuous in the perfecting of virtue. You can find this in Mahaparinibbana Sutta, in the Digha Nikaya, in the long discourses. Now here, number 1, here, householder, one who is virtuous, possessed of virtue, obtains large fortune as a consequence of diligence. This is the first benefit for the virtuous in the perfecting of virtue. Again, of one who is virtuous, possessed of virtue, a fair name is spread abroad. This is the second benefit for the virtuous in perfecting the virtue. Number 3, again, whenever one is virtuous, possessed of virtue, enters an assembly, whether of Khatiyas, warrior or nobles, or Brahmins, or householders, or ascetics, he does so without fear or hesitation. This is the third benefit for the virtuous in the perfecting of virtue. Number 4, again, one who is virtuous, possessed of virtue, dies unconfused. This is the fourth benefit for the virtuous in perfecting of virtue. Number 5, again, one who is virtuous, possessed of virtue, on breakup of the body after death, reappears in a happy destiny in the heavenly world. This is the fifth benefit for the virtuous in the perfecting of virtue. Now, when we want to cultivate the mind, so you don't have to worry about the 4 and 5. Because the 4 and 5, it will come naturally. What is important is that the first 1, 2, 3 for you all. The 1, 2, 3 is where your everyday happiness comes. Because of your morality of, let's say you are doing business, you are having a restaurant, or you're having an online shop, or you have whatever that you are doing, then, or you have a career in IT or in anything. So here, as long as you are virtuous, then if you keep on to do it with diligence over time, then you obtain some degree of fortune. That degree of fortune, it comes in as your financial wealth, your house, your clothing, your transportation, those type of things. They give you the everyday happiness. It gives you that stability. Then when you have those stability, you feel good about yourself. At least like you feel you not to feel too bad. And then when you have those things, that is where the everyday happiness comes in. Then with that also a fair name spread abroad because of your dealings is straight. Your dealings is not hanky-panky without scheming other people, and your words are true. When you say that you will do it, you will do it. When you say you will not do it, you will not do it. Now when people are able to trust you, for example, as I said, I think a week or two ago, I said that if you're doing your online shop, and if people want to buy from you, usually people will read the
Bye-bye, we cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Now, okay.
Earlier on, can you hear me?
For split second, we cannot hear you.
Oh, split second. Okay, all right. I thought the whole beginning you all cannot hear me. See, they're going to repeat all over again. All right, okay. At least you all can hear me for a split second. All right. Now, as I said that, now as number two, then because of you're able to do things in a straightforward manner without the hanky-panky, without all kinds of scheming, and without lying to your customers, and you say that you can do, you say you can do, and you do it, and if you say you cannot do, you say you cannot do, then you don't do it. So here the name is spread far. And as I said that if you are online merchant, you can able, because people read your review before they buy something from you, because they have physical contact with you. It's all everything on virtual, virtual discussion, and virtual what you are reading from what other people's comments and feedback. So because of that, and over time, people see that if you're able to maintain a very good rapport with your customers, and you're straightforward with them, and your name will spread forth. And with that, also definitely you have more and more fortune or wealth coming in. So with that, it gives you that everyday happiness. It gives you that sense of that you can able to sleep at night, that you don't have so much worry about all these things. Then again, the third one is that when you enter an assembly, that means you go to any, here in the Buddha's time is Katiyas or Brahmans or householders or ascetics. Here nowadays is that if you're doing the right things and so on, then you don't have to fear other people in the sense that they will question you, they will confuse you, to make you confess in a certain thing that you don't even do it. Nowadays that the people can do like that. They make you in such a way that because of your fear, you totally have a very confused mind, and then you do all kinds of wrong things. Even you don't do it in the first place. So with your morality intact, and you hold on to your morality, to your virtue, then a lot of times you don't have to fear when others question you. You have your You are very clear about what you are doing. Then people can able to trust you in that sense. So with these first three, it be so important for your mental cultivation. That means you already polish your mind in a certain way. Then the mind is ready for the next phase, which is bhavana, which is a mental cultivation. For number 4 and number 5, this one you die unconfused because your mind is clear. You don't have regrets about your life. You don't have much worry or regrets that things have done or not done. Then you die unconfused. And with that also, because of your mind is clear, therefore a happy destination, heavenly, will wait for you. So something like this. So then with this benefit that you have over time, again and again, that you have developed, then we go into the Samadhi group. Now, when it comes to the Noble Eightfold Path, the first two of right view and right intention or right thought, that one belongs to the wisdom group. Then we have the right speech, right action, right livelihood. That one belongs to the morality group or the virtue group. And then when it comes into the Samadhi group or the concentration group or tranquility group, here, or calm group, sometimes they translate it. Then we have right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. So this is the very, very basic that when we learn about the Noble Eightfold Path, at least you know how to separate them. Now, here this one, and big, what is the right effort? Now this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, I extracted out from the sutta that I gave to you all, I think about 2 weeks ago when we begin to learn about the Noble Eightfold Path. The standard, the basic standard about the Noble Eightfold Path. So this one is in the Samyutta Nikaya 45.1.8. So you try to look at that sutta again and again and again, so that we can able to remember those things. These are the framework of the Noble Eightfold Path. But anyway, I'm going to bring it here right now. And what bhikkhus is right effort? Number 1, here, bhikkhus, a bhikkhu generates desire for the non-arising of unarisen evil, unwholesome states. He makes an effort, arouses energy, applies his mind, and strives. He generates desire for the abandoning of unarisen, unwholesome states. He generates desire for the arising of unarisen, wholesome states. Number 4, he generates desire for the maintenance of the arisen, wholesome states for their non-decay, increase, expansion, and fulfillment by development. He makes an effort, arouses energy, applies his mind, and strives. This is called right effort. Now here, the right effort, they have 4. We'll come back again on these things. And then we have the right mindfulness. Here, bhikkhus, a bhikkhu dwell contemplating the body in the body, ardent, clearly comprehending, mindful, having removed covetousness and displeasure in regard to the world. He dwells contemplating feelings in the feelings, ardent, clearly comprehending, mindful, having removed covetousness and displeasure in regard to the world. He dwells contemplating mind in mind, ardent, clearly comprehending, mindful, having removed covetousness and displeasure in regard to the world. Number 4, he dwells contemplating phenomena in phenomena, ardent, clearly comprehending, mindful, having removed covetousness and displeasure in regard to the world. This is called right mindfulness. And what is the right concentration? And what is right And what bhikkhus is right concentration? Number one, here, bhikkhus, secluded from sensual pleasures, secluded from unwholesome states, a bhikkhu enters and dwells in the first jhana, which is accompanied by thought and examination with rapture and happiness born of seclusion. Now, here the one, thought and examination here, the Pali word is vitakka and vichara. That time when we come to this concentration, we'll talk about this vitakka vichara also. So right now, we just go through the overall of this concentration group or tranquility group. Number two, with the subsiding of thought and examination, he enters and dwells in the second jhana, which has internal confidence and unification of mind, is without thought and examination, and has rapture and happiness born of concentration. Number three, with the fading away as well of rapture, he dwells equanimous and mindful and clearly comprehending. He experiences happiness with the body. He enters and dwells in the third jhana, of which the noble ones declare he is equanimous, mindful, one who dwells happily. Number four, with the abandoning of pleasure and pain, with the previous passing away of joy and displeasure, he enters and dwells in the fourth jhana, which is neither painful nor pleasant and includes the purification of mindfulness by equanimity. This is called right concentration. All right? So all these things we're going to discuss, and it's going to take a while. I think so. Just like this right mindfulness here, when we talk about the, let's say the four types of right mindfulness here, I already talked about for 3 months already, for that one. It takes about let me see, it takes about over 40 talks, just to talk about these things. I don't think I was able to do that. That one, it will be another time, another day. I don't think I will talk into so much of it. I'll talk more of because this is fall under the Noble Eightfold Path, and we don't have to talk so much. Later part, next time, we talk about Satipatthana, then we can talk a lot of it. So in this right effort, now the right effort here, although right now when we say we have right effort, it's fall under Samadhi group, doesn't mean that in the virtue, in the morality, you don't have the right effort. They are still there. The right effort is still there. It's just that this one is more towards the mind side, whereas the virtue is on your speech, on your actions. Of course, they are also in the mind too, in the intention and so on. But here, the right effort here, we will tie it in also in the sense that whatever that unwholesomeness that you abstain, you make to restrain yourself from doing unwholesome things, you need right effort. You need right effort. That means that the first one of the right effort, a bhikkhu generates desire for non-arising of unarisen, evil, unwholesome states. That means that if you are mentally, there is called unconscientious, without much of a conscience, and also shameless or more without moral fear or moral dread, then here, with the right effort, you stop it. You stop it from arising. You stop it from arising. Then he makes an effort, arouse energy, applies his mind and strive. During the time of when you are actually meditating, and when you are meditating, and also when you are like in a long-term retreat, also you will see a lot of time this like your 5 hindrances is trying to creep in. It's there, but you kind of like blocked it from it to come in. Like the other day, you have a question that somebody asked that the sloth and torpor is coming in at the background. Then, no, somebody, I think was not here or somewhere in the WhatsApp. Or I forgot where. Some people asking me question here and there. But recently the question was the sloth and torpor is trying to come in. But while you're in the walking time, you know that the mind is the sloth and torpor is already at the corner already, at one corner, but it's not strong yet. But because of your mindfulness is still strong, your clarity is still strong, then that state of mind is not able to come in the full blown. Then you will see that during in the time of when we are doing meditation. So you make that effort. So a lot of times that you're in the everyday life also, that we have to make that effort to, especially the second one. It generates the desire to abandon the unreasoned, evil, unwholesome states. For example, that those who are not so keen on meditation, and also even if you have some morality in your life, but you are not so keen in your mental development. When you come to a certain situation that you want to bend your precepts, or you want to bend your this one, then sometimes we use our words in such a way that we try to bend it to our liking. Then, for example, let me see, what example do you all go through? I have no idea. I every day sit at home only. maybe when you face with a policeman, the policeman says that you beat the traffic light, and they say you didn't beat the traffic light. Then because you don't want to get the fine and so on, so sometimes you bend your words. Or if you don't bend your words, you will say something else, whether he wants to, corruption is other words, all these things. So, because because that you find that this is something wrong and it is not something right, you find that you better be straightforward. Then you'll be straightforward. So you make the effort, suppress that unwholesome wishes, unwholesome desires that we want to spring up, but you suppress it so that it doesn't come up. Then you do the right thing, for example. Sometimes you can't be right, If you are right, then you have to argue your case. If you are wrong, but you say that you are right, then it's something that you have to look into that. You see, all these things, I don't have to worry so much. For you all, you have to worry. Even like right now, especially like in Malaysia, you sit outside without the mask, you're afraid that the police may come and give you a 10,000 ringgit fine. And then you sit in the coffee shop, you're in a cafe, you're also afraid that if you don't scan your QR code, and then you also get fined. All kinds of things are right now. People are so fearful whether to eat or not to eat, whether to go out or not to go out. If a lot of population is just like me, then the COVID issue will be very fast over already. But anyway, since you're outside there, so when the temptation comes in to poke you, when your desire comes in, your wish, certain unwholesome wish comes in, then you have to watch out for that. It generates the desire for arising of unarisen wholesome states. Here, for example, like when you are in the meditation, what do you do not have? Like mindfulness, you do not have. So what do? You generate it. You make effort to make it comes up. Say, for example, if your morality is not very good, and your morality is like for example, you still like to smoke. You still like to smoke here and there. but then you say that this thing is not right, then you make an effort to abandon it. Then after that, you make an effort to do something wholesome, something more wholesome in that sense. So this one also we'll talk about that a lot. You don't have much of metta, then you arouse it. You don't have much of right concentration, you also arouse it. So those things. Number 4, he generates and maintains. He generates desire for the maintenance of arisen wholesome states. Here, the states that already arises, that means the mindfulness arises, you keep it, make it continue, make it prolong, so that it can able to go further, deeper into insights. Then, or in the everyday life also, the same thing. If you are able to do dana, able to do keep your precepts, then you keep doing it. You keep doing it within your means. You keep doing it again and again throughout your whole life. So this one, you generate the desire to maintain the arisen wholesome states. We will talk about this thing a lot more when we comes into the actual meditation itself. Now, here, before we go into the a bit on the right mindfulness, then something I actually want to talk about. Yes, this is one. So what is wrong samadhi then? That means what is wrong? What is wrong effort? Wrong mindfulness? And what is wrong concentration? So what is wrong effort, wrong mindfulness, wrong concentration? Before we talk about what is right, this thing also, as much as you know what is right effort, you also must know what is wrong effort, wrong mindfulness, wrong concentration, wrong morality. Of course, when you say wrong morality, that means you do not have morality. You do not have a proper livelihood, a bad livelihood. You don't have a right speech, that means you have a wrong, bad speech. You have a wrong view, a wrong intention. All these are very clearly, they are wrong. But when it comes into samadhi, this wrong is not that, sometimes it's not that easy to see. Because one can be meditating, for example, developing the mind, but you're developing the wrong things altogether. So what is wrong effort? What is wrong mindfulness? What is wrong concentration? Here, wrong effort here is exactly the opposite of the right effort that we mentioned. That means, that is to say that you make an effort, whatever that unwholesome one, you make it arise. You make the effort, because right now, the effort here, according to Abhidhamma, you can either can be wholesome or unwholesome. If it's wholesome, that means it follows like wholesome, other mental wholesome states, then it becomes wholesome. So if you have unwholesome, a wrong effort, then here, that means you develop unwholesomeness, unwholesome wishes, unwholesome desire. Then you want to develop it some for whatever benefit that you want, unwholesome benefit that you want, unwholesome benefit. Yes. Then, for example, or another thing is like mindfulness. Now, here mindfulness is a bit more tricky, even more tricky. Mindfulness, according to Abhidhamma, is always wholesome. It's always wholesome. But how can it be wrong mindfulness then? So too, what is wrong concentration also? Now here, wrong mindfulness, one of the meaning of wrong mindfulness is that one develop mindfulness without right view. Okay, one develop mindfulness without the right view. That means the mindfulness that once developed for the sake of mundane happiness, that means for the sake of everyday happiness, not for the sake of getting out of this samsara, not for the sake of realizing nibbana or eradication of defilements. So if it's not fall under, it doesn't fall, if it doesn't fall under right view, then everything is wrong already. Then everything is wrong. So you must have that right view in order for you to be able to have that right, all the noble eightfold path. Without that right view, there's no noble eightfold path, although you can able to do something wholesome. So too in morality, also the same thing. In order for morality to fall into this one, to right morality, then again it has to come with the right view. The whole noble eightfold path has to come as a package, not as you like. You take up this, I take up this mindfulness, I take up this morality, but I don't want the right view. You cannot. Noble eightfold path is a package. It's a package that you cannot separate it as you like. Sometimes Buddhists have wrong understanding, and nowadays even I can see that, although I didn't say it out, but the thing that Buddhist devotees are doing, and also some of the monks are doing, or some of the nuns are doing, although they're doing a lot of wholesome deeds, but not necessarily they want to do it for the sake of getting out of samsara, not for the sake of that. They just want to do it because it is wholesome to do. It is wonderful to do. It is right thing to do, yes. Not to say that those things are wrong, but it doesn't fall under noble eightfold path. It's still wholesome, but it doesn't fall under noble eightfold path. Now, a lot of other religion also you can able to teach you, or even nowadays you can have a lot of philosophy that it can teach you to do a right, good things, wholesome things. Well, it is true they are still wholesome, not to say they are unwholesome, but it does not fall under noble eightfold path because it doesn't have that right view. So the right view is the one that is give you the direction, how to go and what are the goals that you're supposed to achieve. So here, so therefore, in order for us to understand this noble eightfold path, is that we must learn to consolidate all these 8 factors together, not separate it as not do it as what we like or what we think is right. We got to follow what the teachings of the Buddha, because a lot of times our ignorance and our craving is make our mind to be very biased into a state that to feel what is right for ourselves or what you think is right for yourself, without realizing that our ignorance and bias is the one is pulling the string inside there. So you got to learn to, in a way, surrender to the teachings of the Buddha. And you follow the teachings of the Buddha accordingly, not towards what we think is right and what we think is supposed to be. Because nowadays, as I said, many times I said, like for example, like in the mindfulness situation, and nowadays Buddhist devotees are like that type of mundane, everyday, new age type of mindfulness thing, and it gives them the practitioner a lot of calmness, a lot of mental clarity, a lot of rejuvenating their life, their mind, their psyche, and make their health better. Sometimes they do it for post-operation thing, when you have pain, how you deal with pain with mindfulness and acceptance. Those type of things, although it's good, but they are not fall under the Noble Eightfold Path. So therefore, when it doesn't fall under Noble Eightfold Path, therefore it is wrong mindfulness. Wrong mindfulness. So too, like if it's wrong mindfulness, that means you make the effort to cultivate that type of mindfulness, then that effort also is wrong effort. Although you're cultivating something wholesome, but it still falls under wrong effort. So to that one, we have to be very clear. So to the concentration, meditation, also the same thing. Not every form of meditation falls under the Noble Eightfold Path. It's only when you are able to direct the mind for the sake of liberation, then only all the meditation, cultivation, concentration, samadhi, and so on, then it falls under it. So too even with the four jhanas also. The first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, that just now we saw it earlier on. If you can able to cultivate those four jhanas, or even you can cultivate to the fifth jhana, sixth jhana, seventh jhana, eighth jhana, let's say, if you cultivate all, and if you don't direct it for the liberation, for this one, then it is still not fall under the right concentration. It still fall under the wrong concentration. Okay. When we use the word wrong, sometimes that's why we need to clarify that word wrong, because wrong doesn't mean it's bad, It's just that wrong is just that you are not able to get out of samsara. You are still in samsara. All right. So that one we have to be able to differentiate these two. Because along the way, as I said, many of you encounter with different types of meditators, different type of Buddhist devotees, different type of monks, different type of teachers, different types of what you're going to read in the Facebook or whatever, in the YouTube and in the website and so on. Sometimes we get enormous, we get attached to their words. We get attached to their words that we felt that we think that it is true. A lot of times I see Buddhist devotees, as I read sometimes in the Facebook, they can quote sometimes from other religions and they put God and soul into it. Although in the initial part is some kind of very beautiful words about giving, about, let's say, about understanding, about compassion. But then below that, then the word God and soul and no, we're talking about the creator, not just playing with words, but we're talking about those creator and so on. Then sometimes devotees also incorporate those things inside the Facebook without realizing that it actually sometimes we just thought that you just post everything up, just a few keywords, and then you just type and enter. You don't think that this is. To you, sometimes you may not think that this is something unwholesome. And you just think, just click and enter and send, and that's it. And there's no consequences. Sometimes we don't realize that there are consequences in what we type and what we send to. And anyway, that one we just put it aside first. But anyway, what I'm trying to say here is that this right effort, right concentration, right mindfulness, and also what is wrong effort, wrong mindfulness, wrong concentration, that you must able to separate them clearly. You'll be challenged in these times, because this time, especially this modern time, our information flows so fast. You will kind of know what is happening in half the way around the world, what type of meditation people are doing, what sort of concentration they are doing, what sort of mindfulness they are doing, what sort of morality they are doing. Sometimes you may feel that it's very connected, you feel very good, and then you want to follow them. That is where you begin to go out of your whole path. And then sometimes for some of the devotees also, they, because of keep on hearing the Noble Eightfold Path, Noble Eightfold Path, 他们闲了, you know, also jala already, you know. And what else to say? Four Noble Truth. What else to say? Karma. What else to say? Meditation. They are trying to try something new, you know. That is where they get all caught up in the world. Caught up in the world. And that is quite bad, actually, you know. Sometimes, as I said, some time back, as I said, you're going to do yoga thing, you're going to Tai Chi thing, all these things. Yes, it's good for the exercise, but when you begin to believe about when you begin to believe about the soul that's connected with the chi, or the soul connected with the yoga, and something permanent that is connected to the yoga, and you're trying to reach out to the Brahma and so on, that is where you overstep everything, and you already gone into all this wrong path, wrong understanding, wrong mental development. And also they say, of course, I when I do this Tai Chi, do this yoga thing, it's still concentration, and I think that with this concentration, it's going to help me in my practice and so on, you see. But you don't realize that this type of practice, you comes with wrong view. When it comes with wrong view, there are consequences. You're going to because of that ignorance and that craving for your health and for your, you know, for you want this, you desire to make yourself a better practitioner in yoga, a better practitioner in Tai Chi. You thought that all these are still concentration, meditation practices. So what's wrong with it? So because we don't realize that these have wrong view in it. If you attach to it with something is permanent. If you don't attach it with something is permanent, if you just do the exercise, then perfectly fine. You just stretch your body, stretch your back, stretch your this one. You want to move your hand a little bit, exercise a little bit, perfectly fine. As long as you don't incorporate the wrong view, the wrong teachings into it. So this one, as much as I can tell you, but there will be people in Buddhist devotees to be convinced and go into these things. And then later on, I've seen also that this type of yoga or this type of Tai Chi and whatever kind of exercises that they are doing, these things become more prominent in their life. They are more, they like it more than the teachings of the Buddha. When it goes to retreat, not necessary. We go for a yoga retreat now. We go for Tai Chi retreat right now. We spend that 2 weeks, do all kinds of Tai Chi. We then the meditation thing, we just ignore it. And later on, maybe, you know, you say next time. These things I've seen it because nobody guide them. Nobody tell them that this is something wrong. And even sometimes we tell them this is something wrong, they get angry with us. Bhante, you never practice yoga, all these things. How do you know? You never do all this Tai Chi. How do you know? Yeah. How do you know all these things, Bhante? You only sit in your peace house only, like a palace like that, you know. Oh. So you do not know anything. What do you know? You do not know what is going on outside there. What do you know, Bhante? So some people are very difficult to teach, very difficult to penetrate through. Because when you have all these type of views, they do not want to associate with you anymore. Because what you talk about meditation. When you talk about morality, you talk about Noble Eightfold Path, talk about this same thing over and over again. Now, if I then go to the next place, go to yoga or something very new for me. You see? So, you don't try to equate, just to remind you, you don't try to equate all this mundane meditation or mundane try to focus your mind and all these exercises into your, and you think that this is all part of the whole Noble Eightfold Path. This is not. This is very much not at all. So you have to be very clear about the right view and the wrong view. Therefore, right view, then you have the right path. Then if you have a wrong view, therefore the wrong path. Yeah? So this is that something I have to, sometimes I felt that I have to drill into it again and again in different ways, in different words. I have to bring it again and again so that we don't fall into that trap. You're out there. I'm not out there so much. I'm mostly confined with the Dhamma. You're confined with a lot of other things. Even I look at the internet and all kinds of nonsense inside there, once in a while, but I don't go and get influenced by all these type of things. Because the mind is clear which direction we want to head towards it. But for you all, it's different. You have to meet with people, you have to work with people, you have family, you have all kinds of business and everything. So you've got to be very careful. You have a wrong move. Sometimes it's very difficult to come back. Anyway. Now, in this right mindfulness again, so we come with the right mindfulness. Here, when it comes to the right mindfulness here, number 1, 2, and 3, and 4, here the right mindfulness here is, the words mindfulness and the Pali word as in sati. In the meaning of Pali, you can separate the word Pali, that's the word sati, into 2 meanings. One meaning is remembering. The second meaning is presentness of the mind. So the Buddha used this sati in both contexts, especially when it comes into the Dhamma and it comes in the teachings. So you use the word too, because the word sati itself during the Buddha's time, the Pali, it's also meaning that you remember something of the past. But when we are doing the mindfulness, the satipatthana, then here we are keeping the mind in the present. Sometimes people want to use it as a remembering the present also, which is also not to say that they are completely wrong, but anything that is, you keep your mind present, whichever word that you want to say, how put it, you're still right. You keep the mind in the present, clearly in the present. So here, when we say the right mindfulness here, is where you're keeping the mind in the present. Not so much about remembering about the past. But of course, remembering about the past also, that means you have to remember about the instructions, you have to remember what the teachers taught you, what is right, what is the right thing to do, what is not the right thing to do. That also you have to remember in a certain sense. But of course, when you are actually doing the practice, then this 1, 2, 3, 4, in the sense that it has to be in the present, mentally in the present. So if 1, 2, 3, 4, here, if you are contemplating the body in the body, that means you are doing it with a mental effort, a lot of mental effort. Ardent means a lot of effort, not just any effort, but it is a really striving, continuous effort. Clearly comprehending here is wisdom. Means the mind is penetrating. Mindful as in mindfulness, having removed covetousness and displeasure in regard to the world, this is concentration. Having removed covetousness, this one falls under concentration. So therefore, you have to keep your mind, you have to direct the mind towards the body. You have to direct the mind towards the feelings, and you have to direct the mind towards the mind, and direct the mind towards phenomena in the phenomena. Here the phenomena in the Pali term is the word Dhamma. We will talk about that too when it comes into right mindfulness, when we can discuss some of these things. There are many things that we can discuss here. Anyway, here therefore the right mindfulness is to able to direct to these objects of the body and mind, and also if your mind is not directed to this part also, this object also, therefore it also falls under wrong mindfulness, especially for example like concept. If you fall under concept, although your mindfulness bring into it, then also it's not fall under the right mindfulness. Okay, so this one we'll talk about that too when we comes into it. Then when it comes into the right concentration, then you have this first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana. In the sutta, there are 4 jhanas. In the Abhidhamma, you have the 5 jhanas, 5 rupa jhanas or 4 rupa jhanas. We will also talk about that too. Now, then also we'll look into it. What are the vitaka, vichara, and whether we should need first this one and so on, this jhana and that jhana or not. So we will look into all these things, and when we look into it, then the mind becomes more clearer on how to go about the practice. Because right now, I don't think many of you are in the retreat. Maybe 99% of you are not in the retreat while you are listening to the talk here. Maybe 1%, maybe. I do not know where you come from because I do not know where you are also right now. So many of us do not have a retreat right now. So this type of talks, when you are in the retreat, the night I give a talk tomorrow, you already can do the practice already. So it's very fast for you to understand it and to put it into practice, and you can able to develop and to know, the how to do it, on how not to do it, the right way and the wrong way to do it. By tomorrow or the day after, you can able to do it. But here, while we are talking here in the right effort, right mindfulness, here a lot to do with much on theory. But nevertheless, I try to remind you all these things again and again in order at least our practical part of it not too rusty, and also our theoretical part of it also the same thing, hopefully doesn't get too rusty. So when we come to this part here, it's a lot to do with practical aspect. So those who are not in the practice, then you may thinking, Bhante you don't know what Bhante is talking about. He's talking about sitting, walking. Then here we're going to talk about those type of things a little bit more. So in the coming talks. So here is just to give you an overall understanding of what we're going to go through in this Samadhi group. All right. So that's it for tonight, and we'll see you on Wednesday the same time, and then we go into more detail about those talks. Okay. All right. So we share merits,